How did you become involved with the mural project?
Well, as I stated earlier, when I came home for the summer, well, first of all, my major, and hopefully that's not a question you have further down the line, but my major was advertising, focusing on graphic arts, graphic illustrations. My minor was business management, and so I had a strong background in the studio arts, and so when I went in for the interview, he had asked me did I have any background in arts, and I told him yes, and I shared with him, you know, what I had done. I'd had a couple of, at that time, I had a couple of art pieces that were published in an arts magazine, and so right then he had hired me on the spot as one of the supervisors of that project.
How was your role?
How or what?
What was your role?
Okay. My role was to bring a group of probably, I'd say about 15 to 20 youth, mainly high schoolers, together and to manage personalities in the sense that they can all come together and do some great artwork using colors by numbers, and to make sure that the final product in which they put on that wall was precision as far as their artwork, meaning that nothing was to be tacky that was painted on the wall. And so I found myself a lot of times going back and even staying after hours to make sure that everything was intricate that was on the wall, because it not only represented the people who were doing it, but it represented a large portion of the community.
When did you know you wanted to be an artist?
I knew that I wanted to, I'll say, flirt with the art arena when I was in high school. There was a teacher that I had. Her name was Miss Ross, and Miss Ross said, I can still remember it. It was my senior year, and we were working on a project. It was almost like a knitting project that we were doing, and then we were to mat it onto like a canvas. And after that project, Miss Ross had came over to me and looked at my project, and she said, you know what? He said, I think you ought to consider taking some art courses in college, and even maybe majoring in some form of art. You know? And you know, she was the first person that ever told me about a direction that she thought I should go in, meaning from a perspective of teachers. And so that's what kind of got me interested in the art field.
Who was or were your mentors or role models?
Well, my number one mentor, I would say at the top of my list, was my mother. My mother was a single parent, so she had a dual role. And as I stated earlier, growing up in the city of Chicago, to being a young boy, I only had one sister, and the peer pressure was there, and a lot of things that could have attracted me to go in the wrong direction. But having a strong mother who was grounded and rooted in discipline, and she executed that quite often, and I appreciated her for that, because that's she she's contributed to the person that I am today. And so my mother would be my mentor. Secondly, there was a young man by the name of Al Anderson, and I was in a program, and you might have heard of it, Upward Bound, when I first moved into this town. And Al Anderson was a college student who was employed by Upward Bound, and so he was our RA on the floor as well, resident advisor, and he was a basketball player for the University of Illinois, and he was a great mentor, and we would sit down and talk, and he would share some things with me that was vital to the direction that I went in, and so Al Anderson would be another one.
What type of art or art-related projects were you doing in 1978?
Art-related projects? Well, being a poor college student that I was at that time, what I would do is I would come home for the summer, even before I left, and I had created a few pieces, basically in clay, and I would, people would come by the house. I would show them my artwork, and they would be impressed, and they would say, "Oh, could you make me something like that?" And I would say, "Yes, I sure can do that." And so what I would do, because I had free access, I would go back to school, and I became the lab assistant in the one of the art departments, performing arts building, and I would open and close the building, so I had plenty of time to go in there and work on projects. So I would go in and then make projects, art pieces for people, and then bring them back home and sell them. And then when I come home, I'd also do pastel drawings of portraits of people, and would sell it to them as a means of making money as a poor college student.
How did participating in the mural project affect you?
How did it affect me? Well, it taught me how to be, quote unquote, a team player. It taught me how to be flexible in a sense of dealing with different personalities, and not being stern, but being compassionate at the same time, well, that's basically it. That's basically it. Being compassionate, stern, and being a team player for the most part.
Have you done or assisted in the creation of on any other murals?
No, that has been the only mural that I've participated in.
Great. We just have one last question, and then if you
Sure.
wouldn't mind showing us some of your art. Do you remember some of the names of some of the individuals who are also associated with the mural? We know one of the people that we want to talk to is Scott Brown, who was one of the high school students who worked on the mural. Can you think of any other names of people who helped out that we may want to talk to?
There was a young lady by the name of Wanda Brown. There was a lady named Dolores Thompson, which she was one of the other artists. I think she actually drew the horse,
Okay.
one of the horses on the wall there. Dolores. Ooh, that was so long ago. There's another young lady, Dora, but she just recently passed away. Who else was on that project? Deborah Brown was another